Hey everybody, welcome back to a Denton County weather forecast, and today what we're looking at is the potential for some severe storms for Wednesday night, and that means tomorrow that we have a chance for some severe weather across all of North Texas just about, including Wichita Falls, all the way back over to Sulphur Springs. So it's a pretty large area for a risk for just it being marginal, but there is a chance that this does get upgraded in a future outlook to a slight risk. I can't rule that out, as we do have a pretty good chance of seeing at least a few severe storms tomorrow evening. So I'll break down the timeline for you, the main threats to expect, and everything that you need to know. So here's the area that we're looking at for the overall severe threat. This does include Stephenville. It does not include Corsicana, but it basically includes just about all of North Texas, excluding areas the farthest south in North Texas, which again would include Corsicana. So that's the areas that are included. All threats will be possible. However, they're all going to be fairly low-end risks. And what I mean by that is basically everything is a 5% chance within a 25-mile radius, and a tornado threat is also possible, but it will only be a 2% chance within a 25-mile radius, which basically means maybe 1 week in brief tornado will be possible in this big area, maybe 2, but that'll be basically the risk that we're looking at. Alright, so here's the probability for a tornado threat. This will mean mainly for anywhere along and north of I-20, so Dallas, Weatherford, and northwards will have that chance. It's a low risk overall. I don't really anticipate this to be a huge threat. This would just be maybe 1 briefer week tornado, as I said before. So nothing that concerning. It's just something to make sure you're aware of. I mean, if you don't be shocked if you're under a tornado warning, but obviously only maybe one person, one county would actually be under one in anywhere in North Texas or Oklahoma going into tomorrow night, most likely at least. Here's a look at the damaging, or hail threat, excuse me, and you can see the hail threat does include all of North Texas. It would be hail the size of quarters. It's not that concerning again, but it's definitely something that you might want to just bring your car inside just in case, into your garage, or at least cover it over just in case, again, that you do see something like large hail. Damaging wind threat does include the same areas, so basically all of North Texas is included in that threat. For damaging winds up to 65 miles per hour will be my maximum wind speed that I would expect out of any storm. All right, let's break it down individually by timeline, as well as what we're looking at in terms of instability and where that tornado threat is actually the greatest, because obviously we can put a little green shading and say it's a 2% chance within a 25-mile radius, but where's the exact location that a tornado would be most probable tomorrow, which it's a very low-end risk, but again, the possibility is there. So I'll show you that in just a moment. But here's the future radar. So we'll stay dry today. We'll stay dry through most of tomorrow. It won't be until after sunset that we start to see a little line of storms starting to develop. This would be around Wichita Falls, about 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So obviously make sure you're aware of this. I don't think many people drive after 8 o'clock, but if you're anywhere along I-35 driving after 8 o'clock, you might want to be mindful of this just in case. You can see by 8 o'clock, that line of storms approaches I-35, and you can see there's going to be that chance for maybe some hail and damaging winds. Can't rule out a brief or weak tornado, but I still really think the damaging wind threat's probably the primary threat tomorrow. You can see this is at 8 o'clock, and then eventually by 9, these storms move toward Denton County, as well as potentially even Parker County and, Palapit. Those areas basically all included in that chance for some storms around 8 to 10 o'clock tomorrow night. One thing to keep in mind, there will be a cap tomorrow. Depending on how strong that cap is will really determine if these storms are actually that severe or not. If let's just say there's no cap, I do anticipate this specific model, this kind of guidance that it's showing with the storms around 8, 9 o'clock, I really think this would be very accurate. But if there's a cap, it would probably be lesser coverage, meaning more storms will probably be off to the north. There's going to be a bit more of a cap down here, more than anything. So again, if you're south of I-20, you have a much lesser chance of seeing storms tomorrow night in comparison to areas in central and northern DFW. Here's a look at 10, 11 o'clock. Those storms roll through Dallas, Plano. Eventually by 12 o'clock, these storms roll out, so you'll have a pretty good night's sleep, I would think. If you're along I-35, if you're a little bit off to the east, you might still hear a few rumbles of thunder after about 12 o'clock, and those storms eventually move out, and we see a pretty nice cool down along with that. So you can see highs tomorrow will be in the low 70s for most of us, some mid 70s back off to the west, and then temperatures by Thursday morning will be closer to the upper 40s and lower 50s. Just keep that in mind. Wind chills, I'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick. I actually didn't look at that earlier, but wind chills will probably be in the mid 40s or so, and you can see maybe even feeling like the upper 30s, closer to Childress, but you will need a fleece jacket going to Thursday morning, especially since the wind chills will be mostly in the 40s, unless you're somewhere near Waco. It'll be a little bit more mild. Here's a look at the dew points as well. The dew points are not that impressive tomorrow. I mean, they're going to be in the low 60s, upper 50s. Not really the best dew point for severe weather. Usually in the springtime, we'll have a similar event like this, and usually the dew points are extremely higher, and the temperatures are right around the mid 70s. Dew point points right around the mid to upper 60s. In this scenario, we're seeing dew points very minimally, even around 60 degrees. So it will not be that humid tomorrow, so that will be a good factor to limit the overall severe potential, and those dew points may get into the lower 60s by midnight, but again, it would not be that it really does not matter too much since it's going to be fairly low overall for severe weather. All right, here's the tornado parameter, and what I was talking about is where's that best chance for any sort of tornadic threat. It'll probably be right around here, just north of the Red River. I think that's going to be the best shot if you are trying to storm chase tomorrow. Obviously, it's not that great of a day to do so since it's going to be very minimal, and it's going to be obviously after sunset, but an area to watch would probably be just north of the Red River. If there's any other area that would see one, it might be, you know, anywhere north of I-20, as I said before, closer to Cook County or something like that. All right, here's a look at the instability as well, and you can see that the instability values are going to very well dramatically drop after about midnight. So as these storms approach the Metroplex, dew point, or the instability overall will be much lower, around 500 joules per kilogram. So nothing that impressive. All right, we'll keep you updated with Denton County weather for the latest on Facebook and Instagram at Denton County Weather. Make sure to follow us there, and also subscribe here to our YouTube channel. And this forecast is brought to you by All Dents Repair.